So, you guys, before we start the show, I was driving through the village, and I counted in a matter of probably about 3 seconds, 4 people of color.
Wow.
I know.
That's like a record.
I know, on a Friday afternoon in Rhinebeck. So I have to say congratulations to us, Rhinebeck. We finally done it.
They're visitors, unfortunately.
They're totally visitors. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Rhinebeck Scoop. I'm your host, Jennifer C. This radio show is produced by yours truly, Matty Rosenberg and Jennifer Hammoud at Radio Free Rhinecliff. Remember to watch full episodes of this show on the YouTube channel, Radio Free Rhinecliff, under the playlist, The Rhinebeck Scoop. How exciting has it been, guys?
The Rhinebeck Scoop?
The Rhinebeck Scoop on YouTube.
That's very exciting.
Very excited.
You can watch all of us, see what we look like. We're all super hot.
Super hot.
Super hot. Middle-aged hotness.
Middle-aged hotness. Meh.
All right, so we're going to do some Boujee Banter. Today, Tuesday, April 22nd, is Earth Day. Yay!
Right.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, me too.
Amazing.
Happy Earth Day. As you can see,
Yes.
if you see me on video, I am wearing my Earth Day dress, and my boobs are out in honor of Earth Day.
Is that why?
Just because I like it.
There you go.
The weather is good for it.
The weather is good for it. So I asked a really good question this week. Really good. I think it was a good reel. It didn't do as well as I thought it was going to do. It kind of disappointed me a little bit. I think the timing wasn't good. I usually put them up Wednesday morning. I kind of forgot. I ended up putting it up kind of last minute a little bit Thursday afternoon, and I think that's the reason it didn't get the traction. Oh, that was weird. Did you hear what happened with my voice?
The traction part?
No, I did a really gross sound. Did you hear it?
No.
Anyway, so I did...
We never listened that closely to you.
That's true. Anyway, I asked a really good question. Very much Gen X baby boomer, because that's who listens to this show. And it is a question about overcommitment. And you guys, if I had 6 hours, I could go off on this for 6 hours. That's how passionate I am about this whole topic. Are you an overcommitter or a recovering overcommitter? Parents and adults of the greatest and silent generations taught us to stick it out no matter how you feel. Even if you're miserable, you have to see the commitment to the end. This idea of overcommitment infiltrated these areas of our lives: sports, extracurricular activities in school, relationships, marriage, college, education, jobs, career, etc. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. When I was with my ex-fiance, by the way, I heard he moved to this area, so...
Really?
Yes, I heard he...
Why aren't we doing a show about that?
We should invite him, and he can tell you what I was like. Oh, my God. When I was in a relationship with him, and he's a really good guy, but we were just not the right pairing. That's all it was, right? Instead of walking away from it and recognizing it, I tried to save the relationship 3 times. Keep in mind, we didn't have kids. We weren't married. So there's no reason to really save the relationship 3 times. So we went to one couples therapist, disaster, second couples therapist, better. And then finally, at the end of the relationship, I said to myself, okay, let me look up like, what do you call that? Like a couples weekend and see if I can save it that way. And I didn't end up doing it. And finally, we broke up, whatever. But that's how much overcommitted I was to this relationship, because I think it's just been infiltrated through not only parents, I don't want to just blame parents, but also through all of society, especially in the 80s, especially in the 90s. Like, you do that commitment, you better fucking stick with it. I paid for that commitment, you better fucking stick with that T-ball team or that whatever. So I'm very fascinated by this whole thing. So Matty, Jen, what do you think?
I think you're right. I think that we were brought up in a time when you, maybe like that transition time where at least the model that I had where, most people's parents were married. It was kind of unusual if someone got divorced. People weren't necessarily like super happy, but this was the lot that they had. Also, you had a job and you stayed with that job and you didn't, go from job to job to job to job. Even if you were miserable, you were responsible and blah, blah, blah. So, I do think that we were brought up differently than maybe somebody who's even, 5 to 10 years, well, you're like 10 years younger. I would have to say maybe, see, I kind of feel like people your age are a little more flexible in terms of this vision. But maybe because your parents were older. But I'm with you. I think that people of our generation really, even if they were in a situation that maybe wasn't super healthy, it would take a lot to change that.
Intellectually, I totally think that sounds correct for the time period. It wasn't my personal experience because my parents were beatniks, so commitment was not a thing.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
No.
He's got a fascinating life.
No.
Yes.
Like beatniks down in the village?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh, yes.
Did they know? Did they know Jack Kerouac?
Yes.
Jack, my father is a major character in one of his books.
Shut the fuck up. No way.
Yes way.
You
Which
should do a
book?
whole show about him,
The Subterraneans.
about Matt. His family is amazing.
Are your parents still alive?
No. But
Okay.
yes, the answer to your question, they definitely knew Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, Gregory Corso, blah, blah, blah. Yes.
That's crazy. So like beatniks, they just let you do whatever you want, right?
Yes, because they didn't know any other way.
So you could just go out and stay out as a 10-year-old till like 3 a.m. and they didn't care?
I wouldn't say it was that disconnected, but you could do whatever you wanted within some parameters. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. That now explains so much about you.
I don't know what that means, but yes. Yes. So commitment, that when I saw your question, I just had to laugh.
Wow.
That's why I let Jen talk about this.
Well, I grew. My parents were, very, very hippy dippy. We belonged
Really?
to food co-op, organic gardens. We heated the house with a wood burning stove. My parents,
That's far too much
They
commitment
brought
from our
us,
parents.
like to marches. My parents were very engaged, involved.
This took a turn. This is really interesting.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be a therapy session.
I had no idea. This is so fascinating. Okay.
so-
All right. That's very interesting.
Everyone.
No, Jen, I just spit. Did you guys see me spit?
No.
I wear glasses, so I,
I just
would
did
not
a
have seen that.
lot. That was really gross.
Is it a long
didn't-
time?
you didn't-
Yes. I just spit right on the table. It's
Oh,
fucking
you don't have to
disgusting.
clean it.
You forgot that we just don't pay attention to that.
That's true. That is true. That I keep forgetting. Now, this is kind of a serious question for
Okay.
Jen specifically because she's the only parent here. And that is, here's the thing. Overcommitment, I think, as a parent is a tough one with kids. And I'll tell you why. Is let's say you have a 10-year-old and the 10-year-old is like, Mommy, I don't like my teacher and I don't get along with my teacher. So you go and meet the teacher and the teacher's like, you can tell they're not jiving, but the teacher's not horrible. And then you have to make the decision. Do I switch this kid out of a class? Because the kid's never going to have the perfect boss, never going to have...
Yeah, I agree.
So, like, how do you deal with that?
Well, if you hopefully you've had a relationship with your children where you've kind of been honest with them, and once they're in situations that don't work for them, that's basically what you're saying. I mean, if your child is, from my point of view, if your child is in harm's way, if it's taking such a mental health toll that they really, for whatever, can't go to school, they're sick all the time. I mean, you can address it, but I wouldn't switch my kid from a teacher that was like, okay. I mean, everyone's going to be okay. Nothing's going to be a perfect match. And, that's how you kind of build resiliency and problem solve and be a critical thinker is, nothing's like unicorns and rainbows all the time.
Let's pause here. If you're watching on video, you guys, to cut reels, I have to put on my own camera. I'm slouching. Am I slouching?
I don't think so.
Think so.
Okay, last time I did this, and you could totally see the mic.
I think it's going to be unavoidable.
All right, fuck it. I'm just holding the mic.
Well, maybe you could clip it, but it's
And it's
gonna be-
okay if it's fuzzy. It's
I just
kinda
feel
cute.
weird having double mics, though.
Well, why don't you just clip it and it's still visible? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
You're going to see the red here.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, who cares? All right, fuck it. Okay, here's how I feel about it, guys. I understand that the mindset was passed down, right? So you're in that silent generation, you're in the greatest generation. You come here from wherever, off a boat, through Ellis Island, and you had to feed your family. You know what I mean? That's how it was. Or you escaped the Holocaust and your parents opened a shoe store and you hated retail, well, guess what? You had to do it. And I think that's where the mindset comes from, is their parents just had to take one for the team all the time. They had to see that commitment through. And even if that meant you hated what you were doing for 40 years, if that meant you had to feed your 6 children that way, that's how it was. And I think that pervaded through our generation. But here's the problem: is society changed drastically from the early 1900s to the 1980s. And to me, the mindset still stuck with a lot of people. And I think this is where the problem is. So for me, I feel like, yeah, there was a lot of problems with overcommitment for me. I mean, in every area of my life. You can say job, career. I was in publishing for 10 years. I was doing the whole publishing house thing. It was not for me. I have way too much of a personality to sit there and edit textbooks all day. It was just, and I was like, no, I have to do this. I have to get my gold star. I have to stay here for 20 years. I have to stay here for 40 years. That was ingrained in me. Same thing with sports. So exactly what you're saying, Jen. I had a sport that I needed to get out of my life because it was an abusive coach. And I just stuck there and stuck there and stuck there for years because I was just like, no, I have to see this through. I have to graduate and be a senior and still be playing this sport, which luckily I was smart enough to change. But the whole thing is like, it's really pervaded my life. A good example here is when we were young, again, if you were raised in a beatnik family, I guess not, but when we were young, for the normal people, they know that when you transferred colleges, so let's say you went to college your freshman year, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say your friend didn't like it, and they transferred to another college. That was considered a failure for so many people. Mm-hmm. Like you were looked at as a failure by society, by your parents, but you felt like a failure. This young woman I knew who I was friends with, she decided to transfer out of my college because she just didn't fit in. Mm-hmm. And she went to UC San Diego and had the best time. Good on her for doing that in 1996 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But she was thought of by everyone as a failure. Mm-hmm. So let's fast forward. So someone I know, their son, who's in college now, he transferred out his freshman year. Mm-hmm. And now he's in a college he loves. Mm-hmm. I said to the father, I said, that you should be really proud of your son for doing that because that takes a lot of bravery and that's amazing. And he said to me, Jennifer, this is normal nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He said, it's not like our generation. He said, you're not a failure. You're not a loser. You're not anything. These kids are just smart enough to realize it's not working. I made the wrong choice.
Did you give another compliment to Gen Z just now?
Oh, I guess I did. Holy shit.
just want to make a note of it.
Yeah, no, but they're smart enough and strong enough to say it's not working for me and I'm going to change paths. And no one cares nowadays. I was shocked by this. We got a few listener responses, a comment and a couple DMs. Number 1, I was an overcommitter in college sports. I stayed on teams that I should have quit for years. It was a good lesson. Me too. Number 2, overcommitment is a tough issue. There's a fine line between not knowing when to quit something and not having resilience. I taught my kids that if you feel in your gut it's not working, quit right then and there. If it's a matter of other people who are counting on you and you're okay sticking it out for a few more months, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a personal decision. And I thought that was really interesting. I want to give an example here in RBK, and I can't say where it is. When I came here, I volunteered at a certain place. And it was a really, really good experience. Then about a couple years into it, I was informed that the person who was in charge of all the volunteers was treated in a really bad misogynistic way. It actually took me by surprise of what happened and how it happened. And then the people who came into what's not in charge now, who are in power now, were the people that did this to her. I said to myself, well, I can either stay and help them with the transition or not. And I just chose not to go back because I was like, I don't believe in how this woman was treated. That was a good lesson for me where I was like, nope, not going back. Don't need to email anyone. Don't need to say anything. Just take me off the list, not going back. And it worked out fine. Okay, number 3, I'm a baby boomer whose parents drilled into my head, you have to see it through no matter what. I stayed in a destructive marriage way too long because of it. Yes, it's an issue. Okay, this is my absolute... Thank you guys for writing in. Sorry, before I say, these are all really good comments. This is my pet peeve of life. I cannot fucking stand when you meet people and they're in the older generations, not us, not baby boomers, but the older generations, and they say to you, you know, I've been married for 55 years, and you kids today, you don't know what it takes to work in a marriage. I want to meet your wife, because it's always a sexist male who says that. Always. It's always a dude who says that. I've never had a woman say that to me. And I want to see how you treat your wife, and I want to see what your wife's therapist has to say. Because it's I guarantee you it's some type of abuse, right? It's some type of gaslighting, narcissism. I know so many marriages where it was so fucking toxic, but they were going to brag until they made it into that mausoleum drawer that they were married for 53 years. You know what I mean? And that shit really pisses me off when they look at us and start to lecture us on it. I'm like, no, we're the generation that's smart enough that said, you know what? We don't have to stay in this shit for the rest of our lives and be married for the rest of our lives. And one of the last things I remember my mom said to me was we were talking about something, and she looks at me and she goes, Jennifer, marriage does not mean happiness. Mm-hmm. She was like, I don't understand your generation. You do not have to be happy in a marriage. I mean, I don't know if that if that says it all. But I think these silent and greatest generations, I really think that's what they thought.
I don't think it's unique to that one issue. Generations always lecture the generation below and say they're...
Not me.
Yes, they say they're lazy or they're entitled or X, Y, and Z or they're... So, no, it is generational that everyone always says that, you know, things were better before, this is this way before, whatever. That's why I dismiss all of that. Any intergenerational critiques is bullshit.
Interesting. Wow, that's a pretty big comment from the beatnik. Wow.
Well, I think that's probably why I feel that way.
Well, you know what? I think we need to get it doesn't have to be from that show. We need to find one of your Gen Z friends and get them on here.
Oh, we'll get one on here.
I think that would be a great idea.
I think that would be great. We could just rip them apart. It would be fantastic.
I think they would destroy you.
I don't think so. No, they have no idea. That would be so fun. I think we also need to, I was thinking about this the other day, we also need to get everyone who comes on here, every male that comes on, not that we've had tons, but they're always married or they have a long-term relationship or something like that. I need a single male that I can sexually harass for 30 to 35 minutes. Do we know anyone? Everyone's married.
I'm sure we could find one.
Okay.
What's the age that you want to sexually harass? Do you want like a young person?
When a Gen Z or sexually harass?
Do you want someone a little
I
older?
do, but they can't be super young looking. Like I couldn't do it when Andrew Ketchia came.
Oh yeah,
he's a nice guy, but he's looks a little too young. You know, I would say 30 and up.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll put our thinking caps on.
We'll think about that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
The producer's job is never done.
Rhinebeck, if you like this radio show, please make sure to tell a friend and give me 5 stars wherever you listen. That's it. Thanks so much.
We are adding a segment today. Yay! New segment. Matty, clap. Okay, yay.
Just because I'm doing the video controls.
Okay, that's true. We are adding Pop Culture Corner. Pop Culture Corner is about pop culture news.
We like that. We like Pop Culture Corner a lot.
All right, cool. So there was a recent space flight of Blue Origin's all-female crew that included singer Katy Perry and TV personality Gayle King. There was a lot of controversy and backlash. Matty, Jen, what do you think?
Jen, do you want to go first?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't follow this story very closely.
Okay.
So
that's okay.
So I don't have a lot to say.
Okay.
I have a lot to say.
Okay, go for it.
No, it's funny because I didn't follow the story in the beginning because it was whatever. I was busy with other things and I don't usually follow those things. But I found myself immersed in it afterward. And I think it was because the more I read about it and the more commentary on social media I saw, it was, I'll have to say, I mean, first of all, They should do whatever they want. I'm not passing judgment on like they shouldn't have done it, although they shouldn't have done it. But no, in all seriousness, it was offensive. And some of the things they said was mind-bogglingly offensive. And it wasn't just Katy Perry. People keep picking on Katy Perry. Easy to call her out. She was just so insipid and just as soon as she got off the kissing the ground. I mean, they went up in a space elevator essentially. But
a roller coaster.
Well, a space elevator that's shaped like a penis. Yeah. But essentially, I found the most offensive statement was actually made by Gayle King.
What did she say? I can't remember.
She said, I wrote it down before the show because you mentioned this. She said, "Don't call this a ride. We duplicated the same trajectory that Alan Shepard did."
That's right.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Alan Shepard, for people who don't know, was the first American to enter space in 1961. It was incredibly dangerous. Yeah. This was a pioneer. He trained as an astronaut for years. The man was an actual astronaut. Yes. Just to get some idea of context, I looked up the computing power then versus now. They didn't even have computers on that space vehicle. It was done on the ground with an IBM mainframe. That mainframe is literally the iPhone in your pocket is 10 million times more powerful than the computer that put Apollo in space. So you're going to compare your fucking rocket ship shaped like a penis by a billionaire, and you're all paying millions of dollars, and you're astronauts now. You're setting a trajectory for feminists. Like, this is such bullshit. If they had just done it and not made it into the nonsense they did, I would have not had much to comment on. But that just set me off with Gayle King.
Matty and I agree. Clap, Jen.
I think Jen might even agree too. I don't know.
It sounds valid.
And the Amazon symbol looks like a penis to me too.
Basically.
That is some
Jeff
shortcomings.
Bezos looks like a penis.
He does look like a penis. So that is some shortcomings. Okay, so here's what I think.
Shortcomings.
I just want to give a little recap. This is not mine, and I thought this was said really, really well. So this is from ChatGPT. The mission was sorry guys, but no, it's ridiculous. But the mission was insensitive and out of touch with the current economic and societal realities. Many people, especially female celebrities, questioned the purpose and environmental cost of the mission, which they saw as a publicity stunt rather than a meaningful step in space exploration. The criticism was fueled by the perceived luxury and privilege of the flight, particularly in light of current economic struggles and environmental concerns. I think that sums it up perfectly. The New York Post, they had a really good headline that said, Katy Perry's Blue Origin space mess shows the world is fed up with entitled celebs who think they are owed adoration. I think that's perfect. To me, I was listening to a podcast today, and I have to say they put it perfectly. All it was a private jet flight. That's all it was to me. It was just like, look at me. I'm rich. I'm going up. They all had the hair and makeup. You guys see how much hair and makeup they had done?
Of course.
It was like ridiculous amounts of hair and makeup they had done. It was almost insane. I never flew Katy Perry, but I worked on a crew that flew her a lot. And let me tell you, nightmare. That's what they would refer to her as. Not a nice person to deal with. They had to deal with the assistant because they could not deal with her. I find it funny that she's been torturing pilots and flight attendants forever, and then she's the representative of this whole thing. So I found that really funny. I think celebrities have to be careful right now, showing off your PJs, your designer handbags, etc. It's just not a good look. People are fed up with the wealth disparity. We may be going into a major recession. It's just not what you want to be doing right now. And here's the thing. I would have been behind it if it was real scientific. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. It was real female astronauts, the whole thing. I would have been 100% behind it, but it was like bullshit. It was just disguised as, right? Like that's how it's bullshit.
To your point, I didn't get to the other part, which was offensive, which is the wealth disparity is so emphasized here. But, had this been, by example, let's say Jeff Bezos had, instead of wanting a publicity stunt with is it his wife yet? They're not married yet, right? They're not married. They're going to have it. Oh, no. They're about to have a $250 million wedding. I forgot about that.
Sounds about right.
Literally, I'm not making that up.
No, I'm sure.
So, imagine the same scenario where he flew 5 female high school science teachers. we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, not at all. No.
And that or anything where it represented anything other than what we saw, which was
I agree.
a bunch of people worth millions, if not billions, flying in a giant penis. I mean, what else?
I guess I didn't look at this closely. I appreciate giant penises, so
Yeah, but you don't want to fly inside one.
that is true. That is true. Okay,
You
all right.
only think that.
Well, if they want to give me a free flight, I'll be happy to go out. But I'm not going to get on the ground and tell you I'm an astronaut.
I want to get to something interesting.
That wasn't interesting.
No, I'm sorry. I want to get to something interesting that no one has covered yet.
I love it.
So I'm going to be the first one to cover.
Okay.
Johnny Depp, you remember who he is? Mm-hmm. Okay. So he began filming his comeback movie. It's called Day Drinker, very appropriate name. And it's a major Lionsgate film. It's filming in Spain. Does anyone care?
Are you asking us personally or just the world?
Do you care? Does the world care?
I don't care.
I'm not one who's going to care about this. I'm sure there's somebody who cares.
I'm sure there is, but you guys don't care.
I couldn't care less.
Okay, so I just want to say I don't give a fuck. But I have to give a moratorium to how hot Johnny Depp used to be. Like,
He was hot.
No, he was fucking smoking hot back in the day. When think about the 90s, think about 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Think about Pirates of the Caribbean in the beginning. He was so hot. Now, I'm fine with dissecting a man's body because it's done to women all the time. His body was never great. Never. But his face, oh my God, like him and Michelle Pfeiffer back in the day, they were like the two Helens of Troy to me. God, they were just so beautiful. I think Halle Berry too, but Halle Berry's still really beautiful. So it's like she's getting even more beautiful, which is so gross. I hate her. But anyway, the whole thing is, yes, I don't know why I brought this up. I just thought you'd be interested.
I did like Edward Scissorhands.
I liked Blow. The cocaine one. I was the only person. I was the only person who liked Blow. Everyone in the U.S. likes a comeback. I really think like this country likes a good comeback.
That's true.
Now, if you've gone too far, like some people we're not going to mention, no one gives a shit about you anymore. But most people, we're talking more like acting and stuff, we like a good comeback, right?
I mean, I don't think Mel Gibson's going to have a real comeback.
That's what I mean. Like someone like that who's gone too far, fuck them. Like that thing. But someone like Johnny Depp who, depending on what you think of him, right? So, but I think he's making a mistake. I think that he shouldn't be doing a movie. I think he should be doing a TV show and something really unexpected, like something where he's a suburban dad or he's doing comedy or something like that. I think that would get him back on track because he's good enough as an actor. That's like Brad Pitt, right? Like everyone's like, oh, Brad Pitt, he was so hot back in the day.
He's still hot.
Okay. So yeah, I think physically he's still hot, but then you hear about everything that happened on the private jet and the drinking problems and the his kids don't even want to take his name and like the stuff like that. There's all that kind of stuff. And then he comes out with like Moneyball, which was a while ago, and you're like, oh fuck, this guy can still act and direct and produce and shit like that. What's the other one? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, very good.
Right,
both those movies were good.
He's talented. So that's what I'm saying. Both these people are actually talented enough to make a comeback.
Sure.
So, anyway. All right.
Sure.
So, how do we like Pop Culture Corner?
I like Pop Culture Corner.
I'll do it.
Especially
I'll
when you
do
give us a
another
heads
shot.
up ahead of time.
Okay, cool. I think I definitely do want to delve into, again, Baldoni Lively, because it's so good.
Okay.
Are you, because you didn't seem to want to do it last time.
Do you mean for the next show? Or do you mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
But you don't like this topic?
Any topic, it's your show. You always know that. It's your show. Whatever topic you want.
Every show he says that. Jen, how do you feel about you don't know about it?
No.
You don't follow it.
I mean, I know there's some conflict, but I don't know exactly what it is.
my favorite
You know what?
thing
The
in the
thing
world.
is, I only have so much room in the brain.
There's a lot of pop culture. I think you should do a show on Luigi Mangione.
Okay, I have something to tell you about Luigi Mangione.
Was he a friend
I
of yours?
worked. No, he's not a friend of mine, but I worked, and I still kind of work because I do sessions once in a while with this. She's kind of like the celebrity energy coach, and he hired her. So I have a 1 degree of separation, and it's now out that he hired her. So same,
Interesting.
isn't that interesting? Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Sour of the moment. I can't drink caffeinated coffee. It makes me crazy. And
What?
I can't do it. It makes me
so sad.
I know. It makes me nuts. And Craig brought me home a latte today, and I was like, "You're sure it's decaf?" And he's like, "It says on there decaf." Guess what? It wasn't decaf.
Well, it wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault, but I'm completely hyper, and I'm going to now be sick for 24 hours because of it.
But the hyper part's good for the show.
It is good for the show. The sweet of the moment. In the village, we've added AI school buses with cameras to catch violators from passing school buses who are stopped, which I think is great. Huh? Do you guys know what I mean?
I didn't know about this specifically, but I know what you're talking about.
Like if you're a school bus and you're stopped and that sign is out, they're trying to catch people who just fly by.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that's actually a good thing. And I just want to say you're an asshole if you fly by when a
it's obvious. It's like the most basic traffic law that you wouldn't want to go against.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
like how how important are you that you just can't wait for a child to cross the street? For
some people are very important.
Some people, I know. And I counted 4 people of color in the village today. So that's 2 sweets of the moment. All right.
Okay.
We are looking for sponsors for the Rhinebeck Scoop. If you're a local business who would like to inquire about sponsoring this show, reach out to Matty or Jen at comments@radiofreerhinecliff.org. We're waiting for the right person, right business to come in. They're going to come in soon. I'm feeling it. My little rhinos, remember to shop here at the Epicurean for all your upscale grocery and gift-giving needs. And you guys, all these things are coming up. Like today is, what's today? April 18th. Oh, yeah. Well, we're recording on April 18th. So I'm going to buy stuff for Easter here today.
Oh.
Because I have a little Easter lunch to go to. So I'm going to buy a couple of things here today. And you guys, there's Mother's Day coming up. There's Father's Day coming up. Who doesn't want, a cute Mother's Day gift from here?
True.
And who doesn't want beer and a blowjob? Right? Right, Matty?
Whatever. It's your show. Whatever you say.
Okay, so you can leave me a voicemail at 845-307-7446. Come on, guys, leave me a voicemail. I miss my voicemail.
You need more voicemails.
I know. I want a drunken voicemail.
But maybe you need to give a little promo for your next show so that they know what they could leave a voicemail about.
Leave me a voicemail. Okay, let me think about the next show. Leave me a voicemail if you have any opinions on Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. That whole controversy. I think that would be good, right?
Sure.
Or you can email me at comments@radiofreerhinecliff.org. And this is really important, guys. Follow me at Free Spirit Jennifer C. And that way you can see all the fun and meaningful middle-aged content I have. The next episode will drop Tuesday, May 6th. Until then, enjoy the actual start of spring. Love you, RBK.
Yeah.